everybody? Welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be reviewing the Packers' loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 10. What I think the Packers did well, what I think needs to be improved upon, and overall what the feeling is after this honestly really close game where the Packers in some areas did better than expected and in others were flat out disappointing. But before we get started into the breakdown of scoring, stats, winners and losers from this week, please hit that subscribe button down below. It will mean a lot for me to get more subs, but thank you all anyways. Let's go ahead and get started with the scoring. Started off in the first quarter with a Najee Harris 4-yard touchdown run to put the Steelers up 7-0. The Packers were then able to tie the game with an 8-yard touchdown pass from Romeo Doubs on the Packers' first drive. I think that was the first time all year the Packers scored on their first drive, so 7-7 tie game after a long sustained drive by the Packers. The Steelers then went up by 10 points after a Jalen Warren 16-yard touchdown run, which put them up 14-7, and a Chris Boswell 42-yard field goal for 17-7. And then in the second quarter, Jordan Love hit Jaden Reed on a 35-yard touchdown pass to bring the game within 4. Unfortunately, the extra point was blocked because Josiah Jaguar decided not to block on that play, so down by 4. That would play in effect later on in the discussion. Third quarter, there was just field goals with the Packers hitting 2 of them to get a 19-17 lead on a 31-yarder and a 28-yarder by Carlson. Then Boswell hit a 49-yarder and a 35-yarder for the final score of 23-19. The Packers had 2 drives down by 4. They needed to get a touchdown. Unfortunately, both of them ended in interceptions thrown to try to get to Christian Watson, who unfortunately was not able to make the play, and the defense was able to take advantage of that. But overall, not too bad. The offense for the majority of the game looked really, really good. Going to get in stats, Jordan Love, 21 for 40. Completion percentage not that great there, but there was quite a few drops. The 2 interceptions really didn't help, and some just inconsistency from the offense really dinged that. But he had 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Only sacked once by the Steelers D-line, which was really impressive. Where we really struggled a bit was running game. A.J. Dillon had his best game of the year, 9 carries, 70 yards, long of 40. But Aaron Jones had a terrible game on the ground. 13 for 35 yards, a 2.7 average yard. Not great there. Then Jordan Love, 2 for 11. I'm receiving some really, really good things here. Jaden Reed had a big game. 5 for 85 and a touchdown. Luke Musgrave had 2 really, really big-time catches. 2 for 64 yards. That means he averaged 32 yards per catch. And along with 36, Dontavian Wicks, 3 for 51. Romeo Doubs, 3 for 31 and a touchdown. Christian Watson, 2 for 23. We'll get to him more in depth in a minute on 7 targets. Not great. Aaron Jones, 4 for 19 with 2 really, really big drops. Dillon, 1 for 11. Kraft, 1 for 6. We did not lose any fumbles, which is good. Tackles, Rudy Ford and Isaiah McDuffie led us in total. Tackles were 10. Then Owens and Slayton both had 8. Preston Smith got the only sack of the game for the Packers. Tackles for loss, Smith had 1. Lucas Van Ness had 1 as well. Pass deflections, Owens had 1. Ballantyne had 2. Nixon had 1. And Devondre Campbell had 1 that was almost a pick 6 if he was able to catch it. One of several instances where the Packers could have been able to take the lead in this game, but unfortunately did not. No interceptions. Nixon, pretty good on kick returns. 5 for 139 and 49-yard long. Carlson, 2 for 2 on field goals and 1 for 2 on extra points. And Whelan had an average of 44.8 yards punting. So first of all, there was a couple of moments in the game where the Packers kind of screwed themselves or got screwed by the refs. One of them was on a lateral, clear backwards pass by the Steelers that should have been picked up and running for a touchdown, but it was called incomplete. And on the review, even though several angles showed that, hey, it was that way, the refs still upheld the call. Incomplete pass that took 7 points off the board for the Packers. And like I just mentioned earlier, Devondre Campbell had an opportunity for a pick 6 and was unable to make that catch and run it in. So there's that there. And so now let's get into the 2 Jordan Love interceptions that came late in the fourth quarter. Both of them were targeting Christian Watson near the end zone. And both of them were kind of a combination of really good defensive play by Patrick Peterson, who was on Watson, and also the fact that Watson did not really look like he tried to fight for the ball. It was not a perfect pass. It was not. Neither of them were perfect passes. But if you're an NFL wide receiver, you can't afford to have every pass be perfect for you to catch the ball. He needed to fight a little bit more to get in a position to at least try to knock it down to not have it be a pick. But unfortunately, that's what happened. first one, I don't really blame either one of them because like even though Watson could have fought for more, that was just an excellent play by Patrick Peterson that deflected the ball into the hands of the opponent. And then the last interception was literally on the last play of the game, touchdown or bust due to that missed extra point. Where if that extra point was made, we would settle for a game-tying field goal, go to overtime, go from there. But we had to go for 7. There was no one open. Jordan had to throw it. They put 7 guys in the end zone for Pittsburgh, and unfortunately, that was the result. So, yeah. Players I really want to highlight as doing well, Jordan Love. Start right off the bat. I know people are going to rant about his completion percentage, but he made dimes all game, and a lot of them in key situations. Like, there are some dimes to Reed on a 35-yard touchdown. Musgrave got involved early. Dontavian Wicks on the last drive had a 35-yard catch. That set us up perfectly. Jordan Love is showing in the past couple weeks he is able to make those throws, been more consistent with them. The completion percentage was mainly due to drops, miscommunications, and some of them were just throwaways as well. And so he really was pretty effective in this game. A.J. Dillon. I got to give a big shout out for A.J. Dillon. He made the most of his carries. Longest run of his career in 40 yards, 70 yards on the ground, 81 overall. Good job, AJ. He might be earning himself another contract after this if he keeps this up and down the stretch. There's 3 guys I want to shout out on the receiving game. Jaden Reed played fantastic. He's really, really showing that he is the best receiver on his team at the moment, and he's been really, really good. Luke Musgrave showing why we drafted him in the second round. He has big play potential written all over him. You see this in the past couple weeks. His average yard is insane. So he just needs to not run like a baby gazelle and trip over himself all the time. And Dontavian Wicks, really, really impressive for a 5th-round rookie. So, yeah, all I got to say there. And Romeo Doubs continues to be consistent, continues to be a good touchdown magnet. So good for you, Romeo, there. Not much to say on defense. Not really going to say anything on defense because I'll get to you in a moment. And, yeah, there's that. Couple guys I want to shout out for not playing good. Won't show up on the stat sheet. John Running Jr. He did not run block well at all. He routinely got in the way of the offense. There was a couple times where Aaron Jones might have been able to break away if there was a proper block, and Running was not able to make that block and tackle for like a 1-yard gain. So yeah, John Running Jr. not playing well at all. He's probably not going to be signed after the season because he has been terrible. And Josiah DeGuara, just because that missed extra point came back to bite us in the butt. You showed no effort on play. You really didn't move to even try to block Patrick Peterson, who ended up getting the block. And you just, I would have cut him immediately after that because that was pathetic and embarrassing. So there's that there. Christian Watson, I already talked about him a bit. You got to fight for those balls, man. You're 6'4". You're not 5'10". Fight for those balls, and you'll be fine. Because you have all the talent in the world. And I still believe in him. A lot of people are calling him a bust, cut him and everything. No. Devontae Adams, we tried to say cut after 2 years. And look how well he's turned out. He's a Hall of Fame receiver. I'm not saying Watson is Devontae Adams, of course. But it is too early to give up on him. So there's that there. And overall, on the defense, I'm not really going to shout out individual players. Because this is mainly on the scheme of Joe frickin' Barry. How do you let up 205 rushing yards to a Matt Canada offense? What the heck is wrong with you, man? They can't throw the ball. Stack the box. Stop Najee Harris. Stop Jalen Warren. You made Najee Harris look like Jamal Charles out there. And Najee's a decent back. But he's getting like 3 yards a carry. You made him average 5. That's not even getting to Jalen Warren. And so I'm tired of Joe Barry costing the team wins. Or costing this defense to be not as good as it should be. Because we have the talent there. But it's just not good. But I will say, overall, this is a bright spot, even though we did lose, because we saw the offense progress. We saw young receivers step up. We saw Jordan Love make those throws. And that overall is why I'm really, really interested down the stretch, because we're not making the playoffs. Nah. And so, yeah, I think if we continue to see this type of play in the future against some of the other teams we're facing down the stretch, I think we can be happy. Even though we're losing, because then we're going to get a high draft pick, get either offensive lineman, another weapon, and that's what I really, really want to do. So, if we take a look on ahead to next week, we're playing the Chargers, who, even though their record is not great, they have one of the best offenses in the league. They scored 38 points against the Lions. And so that's going to be interesting to have. Then we play a Thanksgiving at Detroit, and then we play against Kansas City. And so, yeah, those 3 games are going to be really, really interesting. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe for more, and I'll be back tomorrow with my NFL Power Ranking.